multiracial community is a common target of inequality. Whether it is racial slurs, stereotypes, or even hate crimes, every race is subject to discrimination. America has come far from a time of segregation, but racism and bigotry has lived on. Racial tension has grown recently due to a surge of shooting deaths of black citizens by police officers, the President-elect Donald Trump's comments about Mexicans, and the media causing paranoia that Muslims are terrorists. The Black Lives Matter movement has started in response to the unjust deaths of black people in the hands of police officers, and the movement involves protesting and social media activism. Many Mexican Americans feel that Donald Trump's remarks about Mexican immigrants being criminals and rapists has made them targets of disdain from white Americans and feel discriminated against.
To a local grocery store in Scripps Poway Parkway and asked people if we could interview them for this project. A few people requested to keep their names off the record and others to be specifically quoted. One man, Bryce Zuniga, was questioned on racial stereotypes. We asked him to give his view and definition. His response included a backstory. He is Guatemalan and is often mistaken for an African American man and is treated as such. Based off his experiences, he states that the stance of stereotypes are deemed as social norm in society, not as if accepted in society, but it is normally done by many others. Stereotypes happen when people have an assumption on how an individual or group of individuals may react or act on a regular basis because of their ethnicity, skin tone, hairstyle, or even how people may walk or talk. This was a common response amongst everyone who volunteered to comment. One lady and her son described an experience they had where an elderly white man yelled at them for being at the front of the bus. Her response that it was 2016 and that they could sit in the front of the bus, middle of the bus, or the back of the bus if they felt like it.
I was hoping that your guest can help me change my mind about some things. I'm a white male, and I am prejudiced. And the reason it is something I wasn't taught, but it's kind of something that I learned. When I open up the papers, I get very discouraged at what young black males are doing to each other and the crime rates. I understand that they live in an environment with a lot of drugs. You have to get money for drugs, and it's a deep issue that goes beyond that. But when I have these different fears, and I don't want my fears to come true, so I try to avoid that. And I come off as being prejudiced, but I just have fears. I don't like to be forced to like people. I like to be led to like people through example. And what can I do to change, to be a better American?
Heather McGhee. Thank you so much for being honest and for opening up this conversation, because it's simply one of the most important ones we have to have in this country. We are not a country that is united because we are all one racial group that all descended from one tribe in one community. That is actually, I think, what makes this country beautiful, but it's our challenge. We are the most multiracial, multi-ethnic, wealthy democracy in the world. And so, asking the question you asked, how do I get over my fears and my prejudices, is the question that all of us, and I will say people of all races and ethnicities and backgrounds, hold these fears and prejudices. Most of them are actually unconscious, right? You say to yourself, I'm not prejudiced, but of course we all have them. And so your ability to just say, this is what I have these fears and prejudices, and I want to get over them, is one of the most powerful things that we can do right now at this moment in our history. So thank you.
There are people who don't think racial discrimination is an issue. For example, one man describes equality groups such as Black Lives Matter as a proponent of racial discrimination. He claims anytime you apply a race to something, you're distinguishing it from others, therefore creating a sense of discrimination. It is commonly stated that if you are white, you are automatically racist. As thedailywire.com reads, racism requires power and prejudice. White people have the power to oppress black people because they control the system and economic structure in society. Society furthers Asian discrimination by allowing little to no representation in politics or executive positions. As Quora.com states, no one ever speaks of Asian discrimination in America. Roughly half of Hispanics have faced discrimination. At least 62% of American-born Hispanics are more likely than immigrants to say they've experienced racial inequality.